would like to be good at Colette someday because I like her as a character.
And then
Her personality is similar to Flonne.
And then all of her angel moves are really difficult to know when to use because all of them are a risk-reward attack, essentially. Colette is a jack of all trades and a master of none. The only thing that Colette has on anybody in the game is that she has the only ranged melee, the only ranged base combo in the game. And even then, it's not her regular combo, and the CPU won't use it. You would have to manually play Colette in order to get it, and you have to do the hold down combo. And even then, it's not a very long range like Nadia in Tales of the Abyss. So really, if you're looking for range support, you're honestly better off using Genis. Or even fucking Lloyd, honestly.
So why is it you want to play her if there's so many downsides?
Because I enjoy practicing my Colette. I've already mastered my Kratos Celos, I've already mastered my Lloyd, I've already mostly mastered my Presea. Obviously it doesn't take much of anything to master Genis or Rain. So, like, you know, practice some of the more technical characters I'm not as good with.
I understand. Well, if you want to play my favorite character in the game, then go ahead.
Like, I'd have to say the only character more difficult to play than Colette would be Regal. And that's simple. The only reason for that is because Regal can just absolutely fucking chain literally his entire moveset together. And so you need to not only have all of your B input selected, but you also need to have a bunch of his other moves set to the C stick in order to actually be able to get off the full potential of his combos.
I would not say that I mastered Bridget, not even close, Kuna. I mean, I wish, but no.
Tales of Symphonia is a very deeply complex game in terms of, like, how to use each character. You absolutely do not need to use any of that knowledge at all in order to win. But if you can, it's pretty dope.
I wish I was good at Bridget. Gosh, do I ever.
I think the interesting part is that a lot of people say that Bridget is just actually, like, a really good character.
She has her valid, moveset. She seems a very, like, rushdown type of playstyle.
She's not really a rushdown as much as she's, like, a zoner who can pretend she's not a zoner.
I see no Statistician.
What do you mean, the downsides make it interesting? Are you talking about Colette?
I assume so, yeah.
So, with Colette, you're probably not going to get a lot out of S-type Colette. S-type Colette can arguably actually deal a bit of damage because her specials become a lot more about dealing damage than inflicting status effects. However, Colette is pretty unique in that she's really optimized for inflicting status effects. She is the only character besides Sheena who's really good at debuffing. And unlike Sheena, she does not need to be close to the enemy in order to debuff. So she has her advantages insofar as that is concerned. The problem is, again, she has no real good SP regen because her melee attacks are shit. The only thing she has going for her is that she can completely avoid the fray. Now, what this does mean is that a lot of her risk-reward healing type moves that she gets from being an angel means that she is able to like safely take those hits without putting herself in any danger, go back, recover, and then kind of be more of a... She's really someone you want to use more in a pinch than regularly, honestly, is the problem. Like, Colette feels like she shines best against enemies that you can't just rush down. Which, unfortunately, because Lloyd is the main character, and a lot of the game feels like it's balanced around Lloyd.
Yes, I got the specialist.
Honestly, a lot of the game feels like it's... Honestly, not even just that game. A lot of Tales games are built around rushdown characters tanking the game. Like, even if you go into Tales of the Abyss, Luc Fonfabre has a very similar, like, attack style wherein he has some of the fastest movement in the game. He also has some of the fastest attacks, and in addition, he's even better because he can get a lot of aerials, which continue to hit stun enemies in the air, keeping them from doing anything, and also keeping Luke from being able to get hit by allowing him to dodge better. He's a very fragile concept of a tank, but at the same time, it works a lot better in the Tales of series than your more traditional tank role that you would see in the 2D games, where you're kind of having to have a slower sword and shield attacker on the front lines. Colette probably would have worked a lot better as a concept in a 2D Tales of game.
Alright, I think I should have it all done. Oh my gosh. Can I enjoy this moment for a little bit? And then talk more about this in like a couple minutes?
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I know you're really enjoying this discussion about one of my favorite video games. Actually, let me make absolutely sure. I mean, I've probably already saved, but... Okay, good. Didn't kill any of my eyes. Residents. Gosh, I hope you're okay.
I'm fine.
Alright, I got 300 edition. The extra 22 apparently doesn't do anything. According to that. I did it! I'm finally free of having to go to Item World to do this.
Hey, patchy, 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 patchy,
Thank
patchy,
you.
patchy, patchy, patchy.
It's good to have that done. I thought it would never end. I legitimately felt like it would never end.
That's kind of the point of Item Worlds, really.
Yeah. Alright, I just wanted that moment of celebration. You can go back to talking about Tales of Symphonia.
Well, again, it's just that Colette is a single target. Actually, I take that back. Paraball can kind of be a wide area crowd control. And Palhammer is a good single target crowd control. But again, the big problem is Colette's SP management. Colette's SP management is shit, and unlike Genus and Rain, she doesn't have a high SP bar to make up for it.
Wow, look at that. Beyond the bar.
And Smirt.
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 Smart.
Smirt.
So smart. Smart. Very wrinkle brain.
I will say that one of the nice things about Colette is that she's one of the few sources of paralysis in the game. She's also one of the only sources of poison in the game, but at the same time, it doesn't really help you much. There's just not enough situations in which poison is all that useful. Meanwhile, Paralyzing Paraball is probably, like, her most useful thing that she has.
Whoa! Immediately took them down. How many levels did that make me gain instantly? Also, see you, Kyle! Have a nice flirt!
Bye-bye, Kyle.
I instantly went from level 1 to level 32.
Thanks.
Bless you.
Thank you.
I kind of had to cough too. How did you? Words. I can't even speak English.
I think if Colette had more wide area attack capabilities, she'd probably be a lot better than she is. But unfortunately, she's more of a single target attacker, unless you get into her specials. Sorry.
There we go. Oh, no.
The thing that really makes, like, characters like Lloyd and, Kratos Zelos shine is that they have really, really, really solid regular attacks. Now, Kratos and Zelos are a little bit less so, but the thing about their combos is that they're a bit more easily interruptible for blocking compared to a lot of characters. Like Sheena, she has so many animation frames that it's actually kind of hard to interrupt for blocking. Meanwhile, Kratos and Zelos, while actually a little bit slow on the attacks, kind of have a small advantage with that in the realm that it's easier to interrupt their attacks to block. Meaning they're kind of a little more okay sitting up there with something that hits hard. Lloyd, again, has a real big advantage of the fact that he's just able to sit up there and wail on people. He can wail and wail and wail and wail without having to worry about SP, because if he runs out of SP, then he can just sit there and base attack, and I mean, he's fine, and if you know how to play Lloyd, you can generate up to 4 SP per combo.
Your knowledge of the game is deep.
Most characters generate 2 to 3 SP per combo. And so even though Lloyd is going to have a smaller SP gauge than, like, Genus and Rain, he's going to have a much higher kind of accessible pool just because he's constantly getting SP back. Kratos Zelos, again, they kind of work well because they can get SP back faster than Genus and Rain, and even though their spellcasting potential is a bit less, they have the ability to be more flexible and be what they need to be when they need to be. Which of course is the draw, but again, it's worth mentioning that even though the height of the power level of Kratos Zelos is casting Grave, they're still going to be able to cast Grave far more often than Genus is going to be able to cast, say, Tempest. Late game Genus pretty much requires you to rely on cooking and items. But
Genus explode things, go boom.
yeah,
Pow! Explosion!
yeah, the difference is just that the SP investment into Genus is a lot better because Genus literally nukes everything.
Kablow!
Meanwhile, trying to put a bunch of SP investment into Colette is going to get you at best some AoE stuns that you probably don't need if you're fielding Lloyd correctly.
It's official art. That's nice. I should go check out all the art you posted there sometime.
Persea is a bit worse on SP generation, but also her base attack is just so good for the sheer amount of area she can hit with it. And if you want to talk about AoE attacks, her specials are really geared towards controlling a small area around her. If there was a tank in Tales of Symphonia, it would be Presea. She doesn't have quite the defense of Kratos, Zelos, or Lloyd, but she makes up for it in just sheer crowd control.
I see.
Which, again, Colette is supposed to be crowd control, but she's not great crowd control. And then Sheena is kind of supposed to be a real big single-target damager with an option to nuke. But summons are really finicky even when you understand how they work. And then Sheena's attacks are so slow that she's not actually going to do any damage so much as set other people up to do more damage.
I do remember her being slow. That was especially the case when you're forced to play as her to defeat that one guy.
Yeah.
What was his name? Hanzo or something?
Something like that, yeah. She's not easy to play. At all.
Well, I should probably promote her first.
Oh, the other thing about Sheena that I did forget, though, that is one of her strongest suits, is that she is able to enchant people's weapons with element damage, which means that Sheena is one of the only sources of dark damage that you can deal.
That's pretty important.
Well, there's not really a whole lot of places to use dark damage.
Oh, never mind then.
I don't know if it's actually useful against angels or not, but,
It ought to be, considering they're holy tight. Did you finally run out of steam?
I'm just thinking about what else I can say.
Ah.
Again, the whole problem with Colette is a jack of all trades, master of none. Sheena is very team composition dependent, but at least still very good. Regal is far from bad, but requires a very, very, very high skill floor in order to get any use out of. And, I mean, that's it for the technical characters and their benefits and downsides, really. Sheena is a good replacement for Genis, for all the... She really does a lot of the same things Genis does, but she's more complex. You have to rely a lot more on her debuffs and enchantments, which happens to pair up really well if you want to main a Kratos Zelos spellcaster, because now you have two different sources of elemental damage, while also having two different sources of melee damage and crowd control. So that is one good thing you can say about Sheena. Really, at the end of the day, what this all comes down to is Colette is just really, really fucking confused about what she wants to be. I don't know what Colette is supposed to be good at.
Being an adorable angel and not knowing whether the coffee is hot or cold.
Pretty much.
There's no new comments.
I was just saying
Everyone's gone.
I was just seeing if Kazu had any more input on my analysis of Tales of Symphonia characters.
Yeah, what did you think of all that, Kazu? Hey, Kuna.
I would have to say one of... You know what, I keep forgetting what her angel moves are. The thing is, I never use her angel moves because they're so costly. They cost so much to use for so little gain. everyone does what Colette does better in some way. Colette can do a little bit of what everyone else does, but she can't do it in the same way Kratos Zelos can do it. Kratos Zelos are really, really good at, you know, having... there's... Colette is just so fucking weird. Colette is so fucking weird. Kratos Zelos are clearly like a melee. They're clearly like the paladin stereotype or the spell sword archetype, and then Colette's just like some kind of weird mix between a thief archetype, I don't even know what you call her melee attacks, and like some kind of like buffer slash holy smiter. And especially since you get judgment on Kratos, and in the updated version Zelos, it kind of feels like Colette's biggest draw, which is judgment, isn't even really that big of a draw.
I'll still have to do that in order to get stronger enemies. Still rating is too low. Harumph. Well, you will know eventually, because me and Julia are gonna eventually play it together.
You can also tell exactly how much of my life I wasted on Tales of Symphonia.
I don't know about waste, considering it's such a great game.
If I remember correctly as well, you want Lloyd to be technical, Kratos Zelos to be strong, Genis to be technical, Rain to be technical, Colette to be technical. I know you're starting to see a pattern here. I don't remember. I think Presea is kind of fine if she's technical or strong. I think she's a bit more versatile. I think I prefer technical because I like combos, but honestly, I think she's one of the better characters with S-type attacks. Regal, you absolutely fucking 100% want technical. You're dumb if you don't. Sheena is, again, better technical.
Wow, it's such a technical game.
I mean, how much do you know about the X-Sphere specializations?
Not a lot, honestly.
So essentially, S-type attacks focus more on dealing fewer attacks with more damage, while T-type attacks focus on attacks that combo better and also tend to deal more hits at a time. The reason T-type attacks often work out better is because, again, more combos and more hits means more hit stun, which means enemies get less chance to attack you. Even if an enemy is immune to hit stun for the most part, there's still invincibility break, which is one of the reasons why Lloyd in T-type is so good. Because all you do is you go in, you deal your 4-hit combo, you go in with Sword Rain, you go in with Tempest, you go in with Triple Demon Fang, and then, you know, a few combos later, the enemy's invincibility has broken and you can hit stun them really easily, get even a few nice air combos. And while Lloyd's got them all stunned and everything, you just get off a shit ton of really strong attacks against them. The entire game is built around Lloyd.
Main character syndrome. Also, I got that impression from earlier when you were talking about that, because you made it sound like, before you spelled it out for me, that T-type is better for combos, whereas S-type is better for smaller combos with bigger hits.
The other thing about T-type, though, is it's also very good about elemental damage. So I will say one thing, is that Genis can do pretty well at S-type, because S-type will be able to do multiple spell elements in the same spell, which can give him a bit of an easier time in obliterating some enemies. But at the same time, it's much better to delegate those S-type element attacks to Kratos Zelos, because they can't get tier 3 spells anyway. And S-type Genus can't get tier 3 spells, he can only get tier 2 spells. So it's really not worth having an S-type Genus. S-type Rain does not get the AoE heals, even though she gets better light attack damage, but the problem being that Kratos, Zelos, and Colette are both much better sources of light damage, so it's really better to focus Rain on what she's good at, healing, rather than trying to turn her into some kind of light mage. With Sheena, it is much better to go towards T-type for debuffs and more focus on the elemental enchantments. Like I said, Presea, she can get some decent multi-hit stuff, but honestly, what you really want to do with Presea is just take that axe and hit an enemy and they just disappear. Regal, like I said, he's the combo king. You definitely want to go T-type. You want to watch him do, like, fucking 9 specials in a row. That's what you want with Regal. You want him to get in there after the enemy is guard broken, launch them into the air, full combo them into oblivion, and then just sit there smugly looking cool.
One thing I will say about the T-type is that I do like big combos, and they're also better for grade.
That is also true, as big combos are better for grade. And then the T-type with Colette is more towards, if you get S-type Colette, her specials actually will be pretty good for damage dealing, and Colette will actually be a decent damage dealer. But she won't inflict status effects. I'm sorry.
Hey, sorry, I'm back now.
Last thing I was gonna say is that Colette can actually deal damage if you go S-type with her, which is reasonably tempting, but then... I don't know, maybe that is the way to go. The problem is that if you don't go T-type Colette, you don't get the inflicting paralysis and poison and all that.
I caught about 20% of your sentences you've been saying the whole time. I'm sorry, this is just a lot to take in. You wrote almost a book with your words so far.
Actually, wait, hold on. Was paralysis S-type, and I'm actually completely wrong about everything I just said about Colette? It's been a fucking minute. In case you can't tell, Colette is the one I labbed a little bit less than the others.
Actually, I think I should make the enemies stronger for now.
Can you actually look at just on game facts real quick?
Not a bad idea.
Yay! 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 Yay!
One's already level 69. Wow. Look at that, Julia. Julia? Level 69. Don't you mean nice? She refuses to say nice. Let's see what level they are. probably under my level.
Oh, that's right. She gets double Ray Thrust under T-Type, making her Ranger status a lot better.
Oh good, I can custom Megastar now.
Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, now I remember. You want to go S-Type because that's the only way she gets Paraball. Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Stronger enemies. That'll
Okay,
give me more
I'll
experience
that one.
points.
Does anyone have a fucking video of...
I was surprised to hear Julia saying all these terms like labbing and stuff.
to play fighting games?
I've never seen you play a fighting game though.
Said used to.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Okay, no, Great Satellite is good. My bad. You do want Colette S-Type.
I see. Interesting.
Colette T-Type has her uses, but Paraball is such a better attack than Powhammer.
Let's see, Kazu, what was the term that you would use to describe it when people metagame really hard? Julia gets real sweaty about Tales of Symphonia.
I mean, I did when I was a teenager. All of this is drawing from, admittedly somewhat fuzzy memories of literally playing Tales of Symphonia for like 3 weeks straight, beating the game like, what, 15 times? There's some stuff I admit I really need to remember, but
Level 78, nice. The statistician bonus really is good. Yeah, didn't you call people who try to go really hardcore into a game and learn everything and do it perfectly sweaty? Didn't you? That's what I thought. Julia's real sweaty about Tales of Symphonia. Or like she said, used to be. Potentially returning to the sweat. So powerful, this loop. I've already gotten back up to level 83. This is kinda ridiculous. The grind is getting faster. Still a while until I can Terrastar them all though. Should definitely make the enemies a bit stronger though. Give Give everyone Bushido armor. Making a Disgaea PNG. Oh, cool. Looking forward to seeing what you're making. Yeah.
Hey, sir.
Yeah, right? It was one of the jack-o'-lantern creatures. Or they call them, let me think. A pumpkin. A decoy and a mandrake was one of those. Or a scarecrow. I see. Since when did I unlock them? In favor of? But I want love. I want love.
Too bad you don't get love. Too bad you don't get love.
No! I'm gonna suffer unloved. All alone. Nobody loves me. Nobody cares. Life is a sordid, grotesque, experience. A play of sorrow, a theater of sorrow. Let's see, I'll get there. Almost to level 100 again already. This is just gotten kind of ridiculous. You just walk in and one-shot everything. Still have a ways until I can tear a star. What is that? I'm probably level 100 now. Level 99, close.
You remember what the thing about poisoning enemies is, and yeah, it's really horrible, actually.
What's horrible? How does Colette inflict poison?
So in order for Colette to be able to inflict poison, and it's the only source of poison infliction in the game, she has to go T-type and then use Pal Hammer a lot. And then, after she uses Pal Hammer 200 times, she has a random chance based on luck to throw a Pal Hammer that will inflict poison.
Wow, it's really hard to poison enemies in the game.
Actually, you don't need a tech type, but it's still pretty bad. So I did forget, Colette wants to be S-type.
How could you forget?
Because the last time... It's been a
That's- yeah.
fucking minute. Even last time when I played Tales of Symphonia with Morgan, I didn't play Colette. I played Kratos Zelos, who I definitely remember how to play them from just, like, memory. It's like when I go to play Taki in Soul Calibur 2, it's been... actually more so Soul Calibur 3, but it's, like, been years. I remember one time it had been, like, over a decade since I played it, and then I went to go play Soul Calibur 3, and then I just, from muscle memory, kicked some guy's ass. But you better believe I went into Soul Calibur 6 and just got floored. Just because everything feels so different. That's the problem with, like, games and series going forward, is, like, just because you mained a character in the other game does not mean you can main them in another game, and in fact, it's almost worse trying to main the same character, because you want them to, you expect them to feel exactly like they did before, and they don't. Like, that's the reason I went from Taki to Mitsurugi in 4, and the reason I went from Mitsurugi to Aswell in 6. It doesn't help that one of Mitsurugi's base combos in 6 got, like his third hit, brings up the Soul Clash mechanic, and that's just fucking awkward.
17? That's nuts. I just went from level 100 to a level 117 in like a few minutes.
Nice.
Thanks. Not too much recently, in terms of comments.
The thing is, I'm still not actually that good with Aswell in Soul Calibur 6, partly because I don't really like him, I just like him better than Mitsurugi. And he's good for cheesing, the Libra of Souls, game mode. Because his attacks, at least earlier, they updated the AI so that it's not really as good anymore, but, used to be that,
Oh no, that's terrible, Trinidadian nerd.
Oh?
I hope you can find your password.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's not good.
I was saying though, Aswell used to be a really good AI killer, but they kind of fixed that, and that was really the only reason I learned Aswell, was because I used him as an AI killer for Libra of Souls. I've yet to learn an actual character for Soul Calibur. I tried 6, I tried Raphael, but he does have better move, but he's still not actually that great. Raphael in SC6 is kind of a one-trick pony from most people's opinion, and are not that wrong, because even though he has offensive moves that can mix in his defensive focus into it now, he still doesn't have any combo ability. Which, to be fair, he never really focused on combos that much, but I mean, you still have to be able to do more than just poke. He at least needs small combos to succeed in Soul Calibur. And Raphael just does not have that.
Wasn't there a Korean girl in Soul Calibur?
Sungmina.
Yeah. She seemed kinda cool. I might be interested in maining her if I was gonna play.
I liked 2B a little bit because she was the actual return of the Rushdown character. It felt like playing Taki in SC2 and 3. But at the same time, I don't know. There's just something about 2B that even though she's smooth and she's a Rushdown, it just doesn't feel fun. Beyond, like, just the nostalgia of being able to play a good Rushdown.
He's just not budging, I swear.
Hi. What is it?
I'm 41.
Mark. What are you doing? Are you a baby? Oh, are you being a baby? Are you being a baby?
Always being a baby. So many levels.
I love you. I love you, you silly little cat.
I too love Mark. To by sheer obligation. Sheer obligation, huh?
I mean, I don't care about meta with Soul Calibur, I just care about having fun with a character, and I didn't really feel like there were any characters that I was like, oh yeah, I'm having a lot of fun playing this character. Like, I mean, in Soul Calibur 4, I would just literally sit there for hours with, like, whatever character I was having a problem with at the time set as the hardest CPU, and then, like, setting everything to infinite health and just sitting there practicing against the CPU over and over. I would run the arcade mode over and over and over. Like, I just had fun with it. I wasn't trying to meta anything, I just genuinely enjoyed playing.
I'm glad that you enjoyed it so much.
And I like SC6, but I just don't get that feeling anymore.
I'm sorry. That stinks.
The only thing I do have to say is that I liked to play Cervantes as kind of like a backup slash side character, because I wasn't really good at him, but I liked playing him. And he definitely plays the same in 6 as he did in 4. So I can carry over some of my Cervantes skills over to 6. And I have, on occasion, but the tragic story is that I'm actually not good at Cervantes.
No!
What?
Mark doing?
To a point, Kazu, I will tell you that Soul Calibur does not really... Close engagements and corner strats are not really a thing in Soul Calibur. I find I spend a lot...
Noted, Cal.
I find I spend a lot of time in neutral in Soul Calibur, and not just because I'm bad, but because it feels like Soul Calibur kind of naturally lends itself towards that. With Soul Calibur, it's a little bit of a rock, paper, scissors almost about trying to match up your attack against what kind of defense the opponent is using.
I might actually be able to go to that one place, with the high defense enemies without having to constantly use magic boost. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna have to constantly do weaker enemies to actually make it viable. That means you're their favorite human. Does Mark let you touch your nose? Touch of the nose? With a snoot?
I definitely boop his nose sometimes.
I've noticed.
But yeah, Kazu, you're probably doing fine in Soul Calibur, and you just don't realize it because you're expecting Soul Calibur to be a game that it's not. If you want combos, play Tekken. Like that's the hard truth. That's the hard truth. I mean, there are some characters that are geared towards combos, but if you got noticed, there's a lot of characters that are just...
Yay!
I mean, they're just really... It feels like a lot more of Soul Calibur is just trying to find the holes in an opponent's defense. And then you don't really combo out of that. What you do is you try to consistently just deny them. Slowly bleed them out. There are combo characters, but, like, also keep in mind that some of the best characters are Astaroth and Siegfried, which Siegfried does have combos, but combos, I don't know how to describe it, combos just don't work the same. Like, there are combos, there are switching into, like, for instance, Siegfried. You do switch into different stances from your moves. Siegfried is supposed to be kind of a dance of attacks, but at the same time, he's not fast enough that he's going to do combos. It's more kind of keeping the opponent guessing what you're doing, landing a huge hit, and then kind of going back in after they get up. Again, Siegfried does have a bit of a stronger combo ability than a lot of characters, but like,
Alright, time to go fight them. Sorry.
You're fine. I played a lot of Mitsurugi, so maybe this colors my thoughts a little bit. A lot of Mitsurugi, a lot of Raphael, a lot of Cervantes. Actually, here's the thing, Cervantes is actually supposed to be a combo-heavy character, but I'm bad at combos. Mitsurugi is not really a combo-heavy character. Mitsurugi is kind of a... Like I said, he's about exploiting an opponent's defense, putting him in a vulnerable position, and then getting an attack in and then pulling back. I don't know, that's how I always played him, and I was always pretty good with that.
Interesting.
I feel like I'm really bad at explaining this because honestly, I probably play Soul Calibur wrong in a sense, but you're not really supposed to pull off big flashy combos in Soul Calibur. There's very few characters that are even capable of that. Like, for instance, Song Mina. Song Mina is not really meant for a bunch of combos, because she's just, you know, a long-range attacker. I'm trying to figure out how to describe this without, like, just, you know, part of it is because I am a noob. It's not wrong. I am, like, bad at fighting games in general. But at the same time, Soul Calibur is a game you can kind of succeed at without being good at traditional fighting game skills. I just don't know how to explain it.
Probably kill.
Yes, but no, Kazu. Yes, but no. Like, it depends. Characters like Ivy and Cervantes and Pocky, those are the characters that are meant to pull off massive combos. Siegfried is supposed to pull off some combos. Nightmare and Astaroth, they're not really as heavy on combos. Keelik, it depends on how you play him, he's pretty versatile. Maxi combos.
Oh geez, I'm not gonna be able to do anything other than physical. I should have brought some SP healing items.
Raphael, not combos. Raphael's more meant around neutral and zoning. Mitsurugi, again, kind of a very neutral controlling character, at least in how I played him, and I never really had too many problems with that, so... I don't know. You need to pick a character that's for comboing. And 2B can, but also the problem with 2B is that she's very, very, very locked into long attack animations, and if you fuck it up, you're screwed. That's just the long and short of it. Like, a character that's a lot better for combos if you want to start trying to combo would be Siegfried. Siegfried's attacks chain into each other. Like, Siegfried has several different stances, and all of those stances have different attacks you can pull out of them.
Ah, Mark was interested in jumping in.
Yeah. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like, there are characters that are good for combos, but it's not a requirement. I feel like Okay, I think this is how I want to describe it. Combos are definitely there, they're definitely powerful, they're definitely something good to do, but I feel like neutral is more important in Soul Calibur than combos and corner strats. I think that's what I was trying to say.
Sounds like that could be said about a lot of fighting games, actually. Aw, darn.
I don't know if that makes any sense, Kazuo.
Oh, my mates! I thought maybe she'd be strong enough. Come on, please, game. Ugh, she just doesn't have the end for it. Shame. She would have gained crazy levels.
Part of the problem, Kazuo, is I'm really bad with fighting game terms and only recently learned them.
It's like, if I could demonstrate to you via just muscle memory what I'm talking about, I would, but I don't know fighting game terms very well. I just don't.
Do you know what Okizeme means?
I keep forgetting what that means every time I hear it. Someone explains to me like, oh yeah, that, duh, and then I forget it every single time.
It's basically when your opponent is down, attacking as they get up so that they don't have a chance to, like, do anything. And they have to choose a way to survive the blow. Did I do that? I need to get some SP recovery items. Am I explaining it right? Am I explaining that right, Kazu?
Oki is actually really interesting in the Soul Calibur because there's a number of ways to break out of it. There are actually attacks that are meant for coming out of being downed. There's rolling backwards, there's rolling forwards, there's rolling to the side. And again, Soul Calibur is very strongly a game about guessing which kind of defense your opponent's using, because there are so many defensive options in Soul Calibur. There's, you know, your basic block and then low block. There's sidestep. There's, I mean, there's sidestep, there's backstep. It doesn't sound complicated, but, like, when you start trying to account for everything in 3 dimensions, and your attacks go in 3 dimensions, it actually gets harder to keep track of than you'd think. Even though it's very basic and there's only a limited amount of options, a lot of characters also have their own unique defensive options. Is another thing. Taki can dodge roll and attack out of a dodge roll very easily, and she can dodge roll into any situation. Raphael can easily turn an offense into a reversal. Problem is he just can't really follow up.
Kazu says Okizeme means forcing someone into a defensive rock, paper, scissors situation when they stand up after a knockdown. Does that ring a bell, Julia?
Not really. Again, I'm bad at fighting game terms. I mean, I
Me
will say
too,
that getting up
honestly.
after a knockdown is a very important thing, but Soul Calibur has a decent number of recovery options, and it's kind of just, like you said, rock, paper, scissors, essentially. But I don't know how to describe it. It's like if you've played... I played it enough to know what I'm thinking about, but not to describe it. Again, I'm demonstrating that I'm bad at fighting games. The only fighting game I've ever been able to be good at is Soul Calibur, because I'm bad at what's considered, you know, traditional fighting game skills. At the same time, that's what I'm trying to say is that traditional fighting game skills are not as necessary in Soul Calibur. You can play Soul Calibur differently and succeed. And I'm just not sure how to communicate that.
Nice. Well, maybe I can just... Oh, wow. Level 243 now.
I'd have to say, Kazu, if you're recording, one thing about Soul Calibur is that, in fact, there are a number of options to be completely offensive from the ground. Especially if you're playing Voldo or Yoshimitsu. Voldo and Yoshimitsu just fucking fuck with everything you know about fighting games. That's their whole job. Voldo is supposed to make you reconsider everything you know about fighting games and throw it out the window. And then Yoshimitsu just makes fun of, you know, basic fighting game flows. Again, throw everything you know about fighting games out the window if you're fighting a Yoshimitsu.
Oh, nice. I got them all in one shot.
Nice. But a lot of characters are very much geared towards attacking out of a knockdown state. One of the reasons I really liked Mitsurugi was because he had a good number of very, very good wake-up attacks.
Oh, almost.
And when I say wake-up attacks, I don't mean get up and then attack. I mean the attack animation is part of getting up.
I'm glad y'all are having an interesting conversation about fighting games. / Soul Calibur.
And it's not like they only have the one wake-up attack. You usually have multiple wake-up attacks. Every character essentially has the same general attacks, which again is not anything new to fighting games per se, but like, how do I put it? There are a ton of attacks in Soul Calibur, and everyone in some aspect has access to most of those same attacks. What makes each character different is, again, not entirely a foreign concept, their special attacks, but also in particular the reach of their weapons, which I would say is a concept that applies to actual martial arts. I don't know if you're familiar with the Book of Five Rings, but one of the foundations of the Book of Five Rings that Musashi makes an emphasis on learning is making sure that you understand the length of your weapon and the situations in which that weapon is good. You have to force a situation in which you're at the optimal length for your weapon to be useful. Yes.
That also applies to Guilty Gear. It was very important for me to learn the length of my yo-yo shot. Like how far it would go.
Right, but what I'm saying is every character has a different a style of weapon. Each weapon has an individual length. I'm... like... how do I put it? "2D fighting games feel like they're a lot more about frames and animations, which, don't get me wrong, have their place here. But if, like me, you've ever had the opportunity to, like, use, like, you know, foam weapons, fighting someone else, boffer, there's very, very different approaches and situations in which you can use a staff, in which you can use a sword, in which you can use a spear, and in what situations those are all useful. At what range do you need to be defensive? At what range do you need to be offensive? When should you retreat? What terrain do you want to be in order to hinder the enemy and make your weapon shine?
Have you checked the chat recently?
No. Okay. I'm really bad at describing it. The reason I think I understand Soul Calibur a lot better is because I'm familiar with the fundamentals of, like, actual martial arts and fighting with a weapon. I did actual fencing before, and even though I didn't get very far in it, a lot of the fundamentals that I knew from Soul Calibur carried over to fencing, and actually made me a lot better at Soul Calibur even. You know, taking those things that I learned from there and then moving them back to the fighting game. It doesn't really work that way in games like Street Fighter or Guilty Gear, because they just operate on completely different fundamental ideals.
I wonder if people who are experts in the FGC would actually agree with you.
Like, that's the only thing I can really think to say, is that Soul Calibur works a lot more like fighting with an actual sword.
Oh, Kazu did actual fencing and did get far in it.
Then, alright, then my advice is play Soul Calibur like you're fencing. Do not play Soul Calibur like you're playing Street Fighter. If you play Soul Calibur like you're fencing, you're doing it right. Soul Calibur, the thing about Soul Calibur is it's not about combos, it's not about animations, it's about weapon. It's about how you use the weapon. That is the best thing I can say. And if I don't have to explain the basics of fencing to you, I think you get it. There is similarities between regular fencing and fighting games, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, there's just a difference. There's a difference in the rhythm. And I hope you understand what I mean.
370. Nice levels. 388.
Yeah, but the spacing in neutral and fencing is a lot different than the spacing in neutral and fighting games. And that's a little bit of what I'm saying here. You're playing fencing spacing, you're playing fencing neutral.
What's this about? What's the meal version? Word. I'm glad that we're having a conversation like this.
By the way, unfortunately, it's about time to wrap it up. It's 8 o'clock and Morgan has work tomorrow.
Oh, right. Wait, what day is today?
It's Thursday.
Oh, tomorrow's Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to start being quiet.
Yeah, either end stream or just kinda probably start typing or whispering.
Hey, I'm gonna have to start to be really quiet. Thanks for the reminder about Morgan. I totally didn't know it was work tomorrow. I was going from that whole 10 p.m. mentality.
Again, try to whisper a bit more, like you did that one morning.
Oh, am I talking too loud right now?
Your voice carries very well.
So I'm talking too loud right now? Yes, that's a yes.
That's a yes, but I don't want you to beat yourself up. It's not like...
Kazu, can I ask if you understand what I mean about, the difference between, like, playing it like a fighting game and playing it like fencing, though? Because when you actually look at Soul Calibur's history, and look at, like, a lot of the developments in Soul Calibur 2, and a lot of the bases in the original Soul Edge, it really is based around kind of... It's based around different forms of martial arts throughout different regions of the world. Is kind of what it really gets down to. Some of it a bit more fantastical and unrealistic, like Voldo or Rock. But actually not even Rock's not that unrealistic, but like Siegfried being more of a focus on German fencing, obviously Mitsurugi being kind of a more Musashi-like fighting style.
Isn't that also true of, like, Tekken and Virtua Fighter?
I'm not sure, because I know more about weapon fighting techniques than I do about fist fighting techniques. I know that Setsuka is, again, a bit of a fantastical take on a lot of the fighting with the short sword.
Let's see, what else?
I mean, obviously Cassandra is very geared around being sword and shield. Raphael is quite obviously geared around the French school of rapier fencing. I don't think I need a whole lot of explanation on Keelik and Maxi. I don't think I need a whole lot of explanation around Jean, just to kind of, you know, make sure that I get this moving forward. I'm not sure about Song Mina. She is Korean, but I'm actually not that familiar with a lot of Korean martial arts, same with Flonne. And I'm not sure if Seongmina is actually based on a Korean martial art, or if perhaps she might just be Korean in theme and more based around the naginata techniques of Japan. Because one thing you will notice about Seongmina versus Keelik is Keelik has a lot of good horizontal attacks, but Seongmina is very focused on vertical swings and stabbing, which, if you know anything about the naginata, it's very good for attacking in hallways. So one of the biggest things you can do to kind of fight against Seongmina is to try to sidestep her a lot, because she has a weapon with a very long stabbing reach, but she's not very good at swinging left and right. She has that ability, but she has far less options in that regard. Again, the thing about Soul Calibur is thinking about the weapon and how the weapon manifests. And then, you know, obviously trying to interpret that a little bit with the more fantastical characters like Aswell, Cervantes, Voldo, Yoshimitsu, Zwei, Geralt, to an extent, Taki and, what's her face? The Philippine girl. I forget her name. Stop, Lynn.
Hmm?
Stop.
Why? Stop what?
In 30 minutes, you went from level 1 to level 500. Stop.
It's addictive.
Stop. I hope maybe the explanation with Seongmina helps, because I feel like that is very, very much a good explanation of Seongmina, and also the historical use of a naginata and what it's made for. I mean, it's a guandao, technically, but same basic concept. They're weapons that are meant to be used to defend households and hallways. Usually by women who are not trained warriors, but are still... or not, you know, they're not warriors, but they're still trained in basic martial arts to be able to defend the household. And that's kind of the same concept of what Seongmina is. Only she's placed in a 3D space and not in a hallway, so it makes Seongmina a little bit more difficult to navigate. Raphael, I feel, has a lot of the same problems. He's a very vertical character because he's more of a French school of fencing. I mean, a rapier is not really meant for the kinds of dimensions that Soul Calibur operates in. Frankly, that old French school of fencing is... well, modern sport fencing is based in the French school of fencing, which was really made more around sidearms that you would carry in self-defense, rather than, you know, actual combat. It's kind of like bringing a pistol against someone who has an assault rifle, in a sense.
I heard that samurai often used naginata and that they used it more often than a katana. Now on the battlefield, the naginata was more useful.
I'm going based on what I remember, but I do remember that the spear is primarily for long areas. I mean, obviously a number of weapons are obviously going to be more useful, and swords are always kind of more sidearm, but still, like a katana versus a rapier in real life would be like the katana wielder, their first order of business would be to try to snap the enemy's rapier. I mean, you could say that about most pistols, really, Kazu.
I believe it was a crime to do that, considering how evil that is, though. I bet a lot of samurai got away with it because they were in a higher order of society during the Edo period, when Japan was isolationist. Samurai were at the top of, well, not the top of society, but near the top of society. It's still a shame that some samurai did that on lower class people. And probably a lot of them got away with it too. Trying to remember the name for the crime. Am I being quiet?
Yeah, here I understand that the katana was more of a dueling weapon. Or like a sidearm, last-ditch defense, self-defense weapon. I do understand that, but at the same time... That's kind of what I'm getting at with Soul Calibur, is these aren't military tactics. There's a difference between military tactics and a duel.
Indeed, katana were often used in duels. Particularly after the Sengoku era. Apparently the most used weapon before flintlocks were introduced to Japan, flintlock pistols, was the bow and arrow. But the second most used weapon was the naginata. Is what I remember, at least from what I researched.
I'm surprised it wasn't pikes like most of the rest of the world.
I mean, maybe? I know that spears were the most.
Yeah, spears make sense. A naginata sounds like it's a bit specialized for, like, yeah, samurai probably, but your average troop, I doubt they would have something as nice as a naginata. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but, you know, it's kind of like the difference between a hoplite having a proper spear, and then, you know, the rest of the formation kind of just having pikes. Which are a type of spear, but they're very, very basic, and they're meant to be used in a very specific way. And they're cheaper. Let's see what Kazu's saying here. Yeah, that's what I was saying, is naginatas were more for women defending households. I'm not saying samurais didn't use spears, but naginatas were more designed for defending in hallways. And again, same with the Guandao, and that's why Song Mina has a much stronger reach in vertical attack, but lacks in horizontal. I'm sure there were other spears for the battlefield, but I feel like not Naginatas. Like, I don't feel like you give a rank and file fruit a Naginata. That's a little too nice. And I don't think a samurai would take a Naginata onto the battlefield because it's just as likely as anything to break. Or get lost.
Warfare certainly did exclude women a lot of the time in history. There are stories of women samurai, though. Thankfully. I'm glad that there were women samurai. Even if it wasn't super common.
Just stop already.
Wow.
You're level 643, just stop.
I'm gonna wait until I reach level 1000 to transmigrate again.
Yo. But even in a lot of the Western martial arts, I'm...
Oh.
Zealand, just stop, okay? Just stop. You're such a level 5,000, just stop. Oh. It's a sign, Lynn. But yeah, no, a lot of weapons that are used in dueling, and at least the techniques that are used in dueling are much, much different than, you know, actual war weapons.
I guess I will transmigrate at 666. That's a funny number.
Even Siegfried is based on the German art of, like the German style of fencing. Just stop.
It was a good place to transmigrate. 666.
To beat the game. Look at that beat. Hats are worth it.
Bless you.
Thanks. I wonder if I would be capable of it. Probably not. I'll give it a try. Probably not possible yet. I'm only level 39. We'll see. Like, you don't even have enough SP to do Terra Star. Oh. It's doing some. If I hang back and use a lot of... Oh. Okay, this isn't a good idea. Maybe if I was to hang back and... Oh my gosh, stop y'all. I have to use the old strategy. Let's see though if she can do it at this level. Like, at all. It'll be crazy if she can. She's only level 39.
You mean a combined level of over 5,000?
What?
They said you mean a combined level of over 5,000.
I guess. I was confused by that. It shouldn't be that many by now. Whoa. It took me to level 80. I'm level 100 and he's already...
Stop.
Ace. All weak to ice. Oh. So sword arts, I don't know about them. I don't know anything about them.
Well, clearly they sell swords. Will your hunger ever be sated?
Hmm?
I said, will your hunger ever be sated?
Not until I completely max out every single stat on Flonne. Until I can go no higher.
I would not try at Trinidadium, no. Assuming it's fine with the heat, you're going to get a whole bunch of steam into your bed, and that could cause it to mold and mildew inside. I would not do that.
You know, Lynn, instead of leveling up Flonne, you really need to teach these girls the alphabet. They don't know what comes after A.
See. What? That took me to 173. Mm.
Karate chop.
Oh, you defeated me.
I'd be worried about the Steam Kazu. We have a ton of mold problems here. Well, maybe not a ton, but mold's no fun.
Thank you. These things.
I'm trying to think of how I want to, flavor my mushroom jerky. I would normally do it with soy sauce, but I don't have any more.
We are out of soy sauce?
Well, okay, I'm low on gluten-free soy sauce. I don't have enough for...
I see. We need to buy more then.
Yeah, we're getting some next week, don't worry.
Oh god, I can cast Terra Star. Such a
I just want to let you know. You're insane and this is dumb.
Ellen too.
This is what you get for calling my game LMAO Kingdom.
I hope you do find it.
Sorry about that. Have fun.
As imposters now, so people can see a representation. What do you mean imposters? Do they have Among Us? Are they sus? Are they sussy bakas? Right. It's a projection of your PC avatar? How does that work? I don't understand how that would work. A hologram. But wouldn't that take the same amount of resources to render? It's a new system. I see. I just don't understand how a hologram of an avatar would use any less resources than just rendering the avatar. I mean, if it works, it works. That's cool. Oh, on the website, I see. That's cool. Surprised it's not doing more damage on this high of a level. You would think it would one-shot them all by now.